Hello, and a warm welcome to the Ghatna Chakra book video. Let's begin this journey where we will present every topic in a simple, clear, and exam-oriented manner.
All right, let's talk about something big. When a new highway gets built or a massive dam goes up, who really pays the price? Your first thought is probably the landowner, right? But the legal definition of an affected family, well, it goes way, way deeper than you'd think. So let's get into it and deconstruct this thing. Yeah, think about it. A massive new project breaks ground. A factory. A highway. Who is truly bearing the cost of that progress? Who are the people actually being displaced? The easy answer, the one that jumps right to mind, is the people who hold the property deeds. The folks whose names are in all the official paperwork. And sure, that's definitely part of the story. But that is just scratching the surface. The real story, the legal one, digs so much deeper. It actually recognizes a whole ecosystem of people whose lives are completely tied up in that land. And the term at the very heart of all this is affected family. Now, this isn't just a phrase. It's a legal concept designed to be a crucial safety net. It covers anyone whose land, property, or, and this part is a total game changer, their primary source of livelihood is impacted. So who exactly fits under this umbrella? Okay, let's start with the foundation, the category everyone thinks of first, the direct owners. So the law kicks off with the most straightforward case, right? It says, basically, any family whose land or other immovable property has been acquired for a project. So what is immovable property? Well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. We're talking about the physical land itself, plus any houses, buildings, or other permanent structures that are fixed to it. Simple enough, right? But, and this is a big but, the definition doesn't stop there. And that's because the law recognizes a fundamental truth. You don't have to hold a deed to have your entire life turned upside down. It also protects people whose very livelihoods are on the line. Now, this is where that definition really starts to stretch and cover more ground. It explicitly includes families that own no land at all, but whose main way of making a living has been completely torpedoed by the acquisition. Think about who this covers. We're talking about agricultural laborers, sharecroppers, local artisans, people whose entire income depends on that specific piece of land, even if they don't own a single square inch of it. The focus here shifts from ownership to straight-up economic dependence. But there is one really crucial condition. And that key condition is time. To qualify under this part of the definition, a family has to have depended on that land for their livelihood for at least 3 years. This rule is so critical. It establishes a genuine, long-term connection to the land, and frankly, it's designed to weed out any fraudulent or last-minute claims. But we're not done yet. The definition expands even further, moving beyond just property and economics to protect deep historical connections to the land, specifically when it comes to forests. This next part is all about protecting tradition and heritage. It specifically covers scheduled tribes and other communities who are traditional forest dwellers and who have lost their established rights to the forest because of some new project. And the crucial word here, the one I really want you to focus on, is rights. We are not talking about a property deed here. We're talking about legally recognized rights to access the forest, to gather resources, to sustain a way of life that has existed for generations. It's a really profound recognition of culture and history. And building directly on that idea, the law includes one more vital category. It extends that protection to anyone whose survival is directly tied to the area's natural resources. The law gets very specific again, covering any family whose primary income depends directly on resources like forests or reservoirs, and whose ability to earn a living from them has been basically wiped out. Are you starting to see a pattern here? This protection applies if their livelihood is directly tied to those resources, is now impacted by the project, and, yep, there it is again, they have been dependent on it for at least 3 years. That 3-year rule really provides consistency across the board and a clear standard for fairness. Okay, so we've just walked through the 4 key parts of this definition, but let's zoom out. What's the bigger picture here? Why does defining affected family so broadly matter so much? Well, what this all represents is a fundamental shift in perspective. You go from this really narrow view where it's only about the property owners to the legal reality, which is that an entire ecosystem of people, owners, workers, artisans, traditional dwellers, is now recognized as being affected. What this creates is a much more just and, holistic approach. The definition essentially builds a safety net on four strong pillars. It recognizes property, it values labor, it protects traditional rights, and it secures livelihoods that are tied to the land. It's designed to be comprehensive for a reason. At the end of the day, what this definition really understands is that losing land isn't just an economic transaction. It's about the disruption of an entire community, the loss of a way to make a living, and sometimes the erasure of heritage. It's about the true human cost of development. And that leaves us with a final big question. This legal framework, this safety net, is designed to be really comprehensive. But in the messy, complex reality of development, displacement, and compensation, is a definition, even a really good one, always enough?